Warning, this video is a lot less organized than my other videos. I just wanted to rant about retroslop for a bit, and remember not to harass anyone I mention in this video. So if you saw my last video, you would know it did way better than I expected it to, especially given how small my channel is, and the nature of most fans of this silly core style. The video ended up getting 20,000 impressions, and it seems most people who saw the video didn't like the retro style, which kinda puts me in a strange position, because I was planning to make another video where I respond to hate comments, but because there's basically none, I decided to get another idea. This video is just going to be pure, unfiltered ranting about how god-awful these retroslop fans are. Considering how only now people are starting to realize how bad the fandoms of these games are, I might as well make another video. So this is the definitive retroslop rant. So it was June 16th when people started to notice how annoying these types of Roblox players were. People started making videos mocking the style, and how no one with this avatar style knew a single thing about the 2000s other than gubby and silliness, and how one of those two things didn't even exist until this year. Soon after, videos highlighting how a very high amount of people in the fandoms of these quote-unquote retro games were sexualizing the characters in them, which is already questionable enough on its own, and it has happened in various other cancerous fandoms. But the difference here is that games like Forsaken depict real people that these people are sexualizing. People like Shedletsky now have to deal with all of these absolutely disease-inducing avatars of them. I saw this, so now you have to as well. But the thing about this is that Shedletsky never asked for any of it. Neither did Builderman. But the people making these kinds of avatars don't care what the people depicted are okay with. They basically have no shame or dignity left, so they have to disgrace other people who actually did something with their life. And they wear this kind of stuff in public servers where absolutely everyone else has to see it, which is made worse by the fact that kids make up a majority of Roblox's player base. Oh, that reminds me, not only is suggestive content made around people who actually exist, apparently making the same content involving kids isn't off limits either. Isn't Blue Dude literally 12 years old?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
And to add insult to injury, only now that people are starting to realize how prevalent degeneracy in these communities are, now we have several different slop tubers trying to tell us to stop talking about it, how it's a non-issue, and trying to guilt trip us by changing the subject and bringing up how bad Roblox's predator problem is, even though these avatars end up contributing to more predators. And yeah, it's not all of them, but certainly enough to cause concern. The people using this argument are just using a cheap trick to push their own opinions and villainize anyone who criticizes the style. In fact, part of me believes half the people using this argument don't care at all about predators. Because when Ninja Muffin 99 was called out for liking Lolly, these same people used the same tactic by deflecting it and saying that because there's worse things happening, it somehow doesn't matter. Sure, just defend a guy looking at Lolly just because he made a game you like. Another example of this hypocrisy is that when Slender avatars were first getting hate, I saw no one use the predator argument there, even though both kinds of players tend to be toxic, annoying, and overly suggestive. In fact, I'd argue that these kinds of avatars are even worse because many of them use real people. I never thought I'd be using Slender avatars in a positive example, but this absolute deflection and hypocrisy makes me. But will any of these YouTubers acknowledge any of these points?
Of course not!
You just need to let people enjoy things, you racist, homophobic ableist. I already know dozens of comments under this video are gonna be like,
well, why aren't you focusing on the gooner avatars rather than the neurodivergent kids having fun?
Even though that's literally all I'm talking about in this video. Even though Slender hate survived for a couple of years, just 1 week into hate for retroslop avatars, it suddenly has to stop. Oh lordy me! We can't possibly have people speaking their mind about an issue that's gotten more and more prevalent over the last couple of years. And if you do, you're a racist, sexist, homophobic ableist for not liking my avatar. You should know that I have self-diagnosed autism. I mention it every other sentence. And yeah, I get that the majority of people wearing these avatars aren't pedophile defending gooners, but at a certain point, will you just shut up?
You need to shut the fuck up!
Never mind the fact that multiple people who agreed with my video are actually autistic themselves. I don't want to hear it, therefore it's evil! Part of me feels like a lot of these people don't even have autism and are just saying this to gain pity points, and so they seem more quirky. As a matter of fact, my friend who has autism asked some of his friends who also have autism their thoughts, and unsurprisingly, they thought that many of these people were over-embellishing it. Even if they aren't playing the ableist card, they're gonna play the victim card instead, and say that people are quote-unquote harassing them because they pointed out how cancerous their avatars are. Well, how about you make like a sponge and suck it the fuck up? Criticism is not harassment. Once again, Slender's never made a big stink about people not liking them, and they're some of the worst this platform has ever had to offer. Being mad at people on the internet for not liking you is being mad at a bear for shitting in the woods. Well, I'm here to say that
Enough is enough!
I have had it with these people getting a free pass to ruin Roblox and drive it further from how it once was. Retroslop is a big chunk of coal that is killing Roblox, and I'm not gonna stand by and pretend like nothing is wrong. I'm not gonna act like the vast majority of these absolute zombies and say that everything is fine and dandy. I'm not gonna be the one who chastises anyone who disagrees with me by trying to guilt trip them and calling them racist and homophobic. If you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you can tell how unbelievably stupid this logic is. But the thing is, the people wearing these avatars and the people defending this behavior don't think about it. They don't care. Pretty ironic Parlo is preaching to all of us about how this doesn't matter, even though he made a 6-part series on Skibbity Toilet of all things. It's pretty ironic how he's changing the subject to make us seem like the bad guys by mentioning Teddy, even though his negligence led to extreme amounts of degeneracy in his server, or how he hired a known groomer as a Discord mod, or how he sent images of him harming himself to multiple people. All of this barely scratches the surface, and I might have to make a full video on some of the stuff that Parlo has done. But the point is, someone like Parlo acting like the morally superior one should be ample evidence of how filled to the brim with shit these YouTubers are. What we have here is a problem that's been contributing to more and more degenerates on Roblox, with less and less people seeming to care about it. And in the direction Roblox is going right now, in 5 or 7 years, it could be viewed as ableist or homophobic to hate on condo games, considering how blinded by bias these absolute zombies are. So if you're like me, and you don't want to see Roblox end up like this, you're probably thinking, what can I do about this? And the answer to that is
Nothing!
at least not by yourself. But for what it's worth, I encourage you to share and spread this video to warn people about the poor precedent that retroslop is setting for the future of Roblox, and to remind people to think for themselves rather than letting some talking head with a bunch of fans tell them what to think. The rise of retroslop as a style is a cautionary tale about what happens when people completely give up with trying to make something original or creative, so they create an echo chamber where they mix and match the same couple of ideas over and over again, until all that's left is but the most unbearable shit on the entire site. What we are witnessing is the decay of a site wrapped in stud textures and public UGC with a superiority complex. These people have blindfolded themselves with nostalgia for a time they more likely than not weren't even alive for, and in the process have contributed to a site that's arguably worse off now than in any other point in time. So if you should take away anything from this video, it's that you're not crazy for calling out stuff no one else is willing to. You're not overreacting for noticing the large amounts of degeneracy in games made for kids. And even though it's not all of them, it's way more than a healthy amount for Roblox. And the more blindfolds these fucking zombies put on their eyes ignoring this, the more prevalent that these people get. Much like apathy has caused all of these problems in Roblox's moderation, it's continuously causing problems in its player base. So if you see something, say something, because soon enough, it'll be too late. Alright, that's all I had to say for this video. It's currently 11:29 p.m. for me, and I just edited this entire video. I'm setting it to upload just a tiny bit before Ruben Sims' video, just to capitalize off of it. I also have a job interview tomorrow, and I should probably go to sleep. But anyways, hopefully I'll be able to upload more often soon, but I don't know. Anyways, that's about it, so see ya.